around here, and we're here with a very special episode. We're going to be reviewing a Bullock dagger, or the Renaissance Scottish dirk from Medieval Shop. But I just wanted to make a little comment. Anybody who is donating to Patreon, and just $1 a month right now, can access extra footage. Like, it'll be new footage, and it'll be the pre-release. I mean, you'll get to see it before anybody else does, before it's used in any other video, and it may be unique stuff that you don't ever get to see any other time. So you might want to go by there. We have some of the Falcons up right now, some extra tests that didn't fit in our original video. He calls it the Renaissance Scottish dirk. But if you look at this closely at the hilt, you could tell that it's a very intricately carved handle, but it is what a lot of people call a Bullock or Bullock dagger. That honestly is a rude term, but it looks like it has two balls right here for the guard, which is technically the predecessor for the Scottish dirk, like you see here. And technically, the Scottish dirk was a later design of a bullock. The bullock was used anywhere from the 13th to 18th century, and it was used in Flanders, Wales, Scandinavia, England. It was a common backup to the sword and lance. The border reivers used it. It was really popular during the Tudor period, and in the Victorian era, it was called a kidney dagger. The reason it was called a kidney dagger was because it was considered too rude or lewd to say bullocks or bullock dagger. Sometimes it's known as a dudgeon dirk or a dudgeon dagger because of the boxwood that the hilt was carved out of. But it's quite phallic, the design. A lot of times it was worn in the center of the belt, just like a lot of times Scottish dirk is. This one's extremely long or huge, and I think the reason he calls it a Renaissance Scottish dirk is if you look at the blade, you have a back edge, so it's a back blade, but it has a sharp edge on the back to aid in thrusting. So most early bullocks or daggers had a quite sometimes shorter blade, and it was double-edged and thinner because it was used against plate to get in niches. This one, on the other hand, is the reason he's saying Renaissance is this would be like a design where you go back to the old ideas, make it more intricate, and then add a Scottish style blade, but make it huge. So this blade would be very much something like you could picture a rich man carrying as prestige. I guess he was trying to
compensating.
Yeah, compensate pretty much for something. But that's a good thing though, because this gives it great cutting ability, and it's still a really good thruster. My wife, as you heard her just speak there, she tried it out, and it cut magnificently well for her. And she was able to cut with it easily. It has a nice weight to it. The grip is nice. She cut through some bottles for us and thrusted them, and that got me thinking. I was like, I want to try this against some roll wet newspaper. I know how well I did with the actual sax that was sent to me from Medieval Shop. One of my favorite ones. It's like a Viking sax with a clip tip, but this one cut quite well. I didn't quite make it all the way through. It was a little tearing at the back, but it was a nice cut. Then we decided to do some thrusting test. Your wife went out there and I set up some, 8 layers of tightly woven linen. It's not really tightly super tight, it's tightly woven, but it's coarse linen. Was sent to us by Andrea Snow, same stuff we've been using. She went through 8 layers of that and ballistic gel. So after that, I figured phone book test. We always do it with dirks or daggers. Normally we don't do a lot of cutting with them, but we go ahead and she tried that out. I tried the phone book test. I was able to get through almost 3 phone books. With a blade this broad, which means a very big wound, which is a great thing if you want to really injure someone. Yes, it went in very deeply, and I would say that we went about, so far into the other phone book, so almost through it, not quite. And then for the last test, I tried cutting some rope. One cut, and it could have been my fault, could have been the way I was holding my mouth, but I almost made it through, but not quite. I came right back and cut. It was still very impressive for a blade this size. This blade is slightly longer than our Scottish dirk. I can compare them. We tested this one quite a few times. It's longer by a good almost 3 inches, 2.5 inches. So that's quite impressive. And like I said, it's got a lot more weight to it. It's a great cutter, great thruster. It was a pleasure to test it out. I'm proud to own it. But like I said, it is very unique. This isn't the double-edged blade that was used earlier period, sometimes shorter, that was used against plate to get into niches and stuff. but I'm sure it'd still be quite formidable. And I could see how it could be a Renaissance version of this blade later on, since they like to go back to earlier period designs. And a bullet seems like that would be something they would do. I hope you all enjoyed our testing, and we did this way on request from some viewers because we're having really bad trouble. When this was filmed, as you know, it's the first scene before we got our camera taken care of, the wind was shaking it. We had 25 mile an hour winds up to 32 mile an hour gust, which is almost gale force winds, like hurricane winds. Yes, we got the video done. I figured I would do the intro later. I was going to do it indoors, but today it's beautiful. That's the way the weather is here in South Texas. Today there's not any wind, and it's just a beautiful day. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and farewell.